Hi all, welcome back to another session on web methods. So in this session, I wanted to show how we can convert the Excel data into JSON. Previously, we did JSON to Excel. Now we'll be doing the opposite way, where we convert the Excel file to the JSON. So for this purpose, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a Java service again. And in our previous example, we used the Apache POI jars for using the what do you say the Excel with Java. So in this for JSON support with Java, we need to use there are many jars available, and I'm using Jackson related jars for this exercise. So I've downloaded the jars from the location. So I've downloaded the jars from here. So once I downloaded the jars, then I'll be like say these are the previous ones which we imported previously, and additionally I'll be using this object mapper array nodes and object nodes from the Jackson jars. So this object mapper is nothing but it's an object creation. It's part of a Jackson library. So which is used to work in what do you say, like say for creation of objects related to JSON, and we can instantiate some objects from it, and use it to create JSON build and use it to build arrays, and we'll be using the array nodes to create JSON array. And here what we'll be again doing is we'll be reading the Excel sheet first, and we'll be iterating over the rows, and we'll be iterating over the cells. So we'll be using the iterator and all those things in this. So let's see how that can be done. So I've created a Java service, Excel to JSON. So this is the Java service. I just went here and created inside this Excel demo. Yeah, Excel to JSON, and I'm configuring a build path. So for this, go to Java perspective, and in this, right click, and then uh, build path, configure build path, and I added the jars related to the ones which I just downloaded, the Jackson jars and the POI Apache POI jars there. And if you wanted to add additional jars, just click on the class path, add external jars, and add jars like this. So I'll add these jars. These are POI related jars, and apply and close. So now what I'll be first doing, in our previous example, what we have seen is in the output, we have this Excel sheet. So first I need to read the Excel sheet. So in order to read the Excel sheet, we need to start with file in stream space file equal to new file input stream, and I would need, so it is throwing me some error. So it's a file input stream. If you wanted to know more about this file input stream, right, just press Control and space. It will display everything there. File input stream, new space file, and the path of the file we need to specify here. So our path is here. We'll just specify the path in this, and semicolon. Yeah. So it is saying that you need to import the uh, java.io. I'll just click import. And we need to surround this with try catch block when you are using the files here. So always remember that try catch exception space E. Yeah. So I have now the error has gone because it is saying that when you're dealing with files, you need to use the try catch block. So now first thing is I've got the file. I need to read the workbook. Like workbook is nothing but the Excel sheet. So our workbook is in XLS format. So for that we need to use HSSF workbook space workbook is equal to new HSSF workbook of file. So here I'm taking the file location from above and I am assigning that to the WB. Then once I got the workbook, I need the sheet details is equal to WB dot. Now you can see here adding the get sheet, and I know it's there is only one sheet. I'll just give it as 0. And sorry, it's get sheet. It should be dot get sheet at it is expecting the index here and this. So I got the index here. It is reading the first sheet and that is stored inside the sheet there. Now I wanted to initialize the JSON related like say I wanted to convert the Excel to JSON. So I will be using the object mapper. And I will instantiate that. So it is asking me to import this. So I'll import this. So the object mapper is imported because I've already added the external jars there. So that import is done. Once I got the object mapper, I need an array object to store the JSON strings. So for that, I'll say array node space JSON array. Then I'll create an empty node for it. So which is he'll use the object mapper. And I'll create the error node. And I need to import this binder. So I'll just import it. So the import is done. So that's how you generally like say write the statements. And then once you added the related jars in the build path, it shows you the fixes as what needs to be done. So now what I've done till now, so I've taken the object mapper, I've taken the array node. Now I need the to read the rows. So for that, I'll use iterator, which will iterate over the rows, and I'll call it as row iterator. And where are the rows present? They're present in the sheet. So I've initialized this and stored it here. So now I need to import the iterator. So I'll just say java.util import that. So I've done it now. So now the rows or row iterator is assigned with the rows in from the sheet. Now what I need to do, I need to loop over the iterators. So I'll use the while loop, and I'll check if it has any rows present in that. Let's say if the rows are present, yeah, if the rows are present, I wanted to add it to, like say, I wanted to check what are the next row present in this. So for this, I'll check what's the next one. And once that is done, what I'll now do is I will read this into an object node. This object will be taken from the object mapper. And then once I did this, the row thing is completed. Now I need to iterate the cells. So I'll do cells space cell iterator. Where are the cells present? Cells are present inside rows. So I need to do O dot cell iterator. So once I did this, now I need to check. Now we are inside the row, and inside that row, I wanted to check if what are the cell has, sorry, that particular row has cells or not. For that, it is we need to check if it has these details. Then, but suppose it has details, then check what then initialize the cell and then check the next one. So we'll can check it using this. Cell iterator. So if this is present, then what we need to do is now we are checking over the cells and all. So once we got this cell related thing, then I wanted to, like say, in our Excel sheet, I have index, username, and all those things, right? What I'll just do is I'll check for each cell, like say, you need to iterate over each cell. So for that purpose, what I'll do is I'll do an if condition which will say for that particular cell, if this first one is 0, yeah, then we have taken the JSON object there, right? So I'll write this to a JSON object. What I wanted to put first, I wanted to put the index, and where is that one present? It is present inside the cell, and I wanted to convert this to string. Yeah. Similarly, the first cell is index, and then it comes to second one. 0th is nothing but the first, it's second one now. Second one we have is user ID. Similarly, if I go to my third iteration, its first name, and for the fourth, last name. For the fifth, gender. For the sixth one, once I get the gender, I have gender, then email, then phone, date of birth, and job title. After gender, it's email. Then later on, for the seventh, it's phone. Eighth, it's date of birth. Finally, for the job title. So I've read the full JSON, like I mean, I've put everything in the JSON object. Now what I wanted to do is, once this is done, then I wanted to convert this JSON object to a JSON array. So what I'll do, I'll just say JSON array dot add. I wanted to add JSON object. So now we are like, say we got everything here. So let's see why this error is coming. Got the while loop, got the inner while loop here. Inner while loop, then it is expecting for I. Yeah. So once I got the JSON array, what I wanted to do is I want this JSON array to be converted to a JSON string, right? So for that, I'll take it as JSON output equal to JSON array dot string. Yeah. Then I wanted to give the output saying that, okay, that this is my JSON output. So we'll use editor cursor. We'll write the pipeline cursor and initialize the pipeline cursor here. Once we have the pipeline cursor, we will write the data to a variable. So that variable is like the pipeline cursor, and it would be a string result, and it is written inside JSON. So I'll just say JSON here. And then we are good. Now let's say if there are any errors in between. So what I'll say is, I'll just take this again. You can even initialize in this beginning itself, but for this purpose, I'm just showing. Here I'll write E. If there is any error, say write it as E. Saving it now. Yeah, this got saved. So let's see what we have done till now again. So first I said I'll be reading from the file here, and once I read the file, in that file we have a workbook. Yeah, then in the workbook we'll have sheets, and I'm using the object mapper, which is nothing but it is used for reading and writing JSON. So we'll be instantiating that class using new object mapper. And once that is done, we'll be creating an empty array node to store the data. So basically, we're initializing the JSON array here. So we do that using array node. So it uses the create array method of the object mapper to create an empty array node. And once we got the array node, and we need to, like, say, iterate over the rows. So we have rows in Excel sheet, so we'll be iterating over the rows. And for that, where the rows will be present inside that sheet, so we'll be iterating over the sheets. So then we'll be looping over the rows first to see how many rows are there. And once we are over the first, let's say if there is value in that rows, then it goes inside and it checks for the next available row. And then we'll be creating an JSON object to store each of the row. And once we got that object node, then we'll be going over the cell. So one row can have multiple cells. For example, if you take this, so this row has, first row has multiple cells here. So now we'll be iterating over uh, each cell, and we are inside inner while loop again. It says that it will iterate over the cell, and if there is value, then in our Excel sheet, we have index, user ID, first name, last name, gender, all these things. So this is in first location, it's called as index. So I'm keeping that. And in the second location, the user ID and all these things. And I'm writing those to all to the JSON objects here. So once all the reading is completed, yeah. So till here, everything is done. So inside the row iterator while loop, I am adding that JSON array object, sorry, object to the JSON array. And outside of that, I'm writing that JSON array to a JSON output string, so we get the output correctly. And one thing we need to do is, once that is done, we need to close the workbook, and also we need to, like, say we are using files in this, and we need to close the files also. This is needed when you're dealing with the workbook. So else you will get some warnings on the top saying that you need to suppress this by closing the opened workbook. See, previously there was an warning for WB and the file. So once I closed it, it understood that okay, we need to close it, and it closed it. So now let's see whether this one works or not. Uh, Click run as run. Click OK. Yeah. So it went, took the files from the location, and it gave me JSON structure. See, This is my JSON structure. It's coming as an array, and these are all the details. And this is the header part. Let's say if you wanted to ignore this header part and only process, like say from the first iteration, like say don't take the index and then process it from the other thing. So in that case, what we can do is we can write some if condition saying that if dot. So I'm saying that I don't want it the first iteration of it, so I'll keep it as this, and then close the if condition after the while here. So I'll just close it. Save. Let me run it again. See, the result has come. It is coming from index one, ignoring the first one. See, it says that the index is not present in one of the one, and it is starting from one. So this is how you create a Java service to convert the Excel file to JSON. Thank you.